Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going back to another independent bottler, Keith, Cadenheads.
Gosh, look how dark that is.
Benrinnes.
For an 11-year-old.
Benrinnes, 11-year-old, 46% ABV. Am I saying that right? Benrinnes?
Benrinnes.
Benrinnes. Dustin and I don't do a ton of this. This is another Space Side distillery, is it not?
Yep.
By Abelour, I think, is when I looked at the map. What can you tell us about it, big guy? Another 46%. It looks like another heavily sherried one. One you picked up at the party source here recently. All right, Keith, tell us a little bit about the cask maturation, because this one was pretty sexy.
Look how dark that is for an 11-year-old. It's got PX sherry, bourbon, and some rum cask in this. Benrinnes is one of... So it's always had like this... I can't remember if they use worm tubs, but it's always been a little bit meatier, and it has like a cucumber note a lot in it. It's just got something that's meatier and more hearty, kind of like a Craigellachie, kind of like a Mortlock. It's got something different to it than a lot of other Space Side distilleries. I do know they used to do triple distillation, and then they abandoned that, and they do kind of like a Springbank, a partial triple.
Oh, it's like
2.5, 2.8.
Yeah, it's 2 plus. Like yeah, somewhere between 2 and 3 times distilled.
They also used to use the Saladin box. I think they abandoned that like 20, 30, 40 years ago. But yeah, Benrinnes has always been one of my favorites. You don't really find them a lot. It's used a lot in blends. Mm-hmm. So when I find like a single malt Benrinnes, I always try to grab it, especially when it's this dark sherry matured.
Yeah, buddy, PX and rum cask, because rum has a different type of sweetness. You know what I mean? So it should be sticky sweet. I'm ready to get into this one. Again, 46% ABV.
Oh my gosh. For an 11-year-old, this is pretty dang good. Obviously, we both had better whiskeys, but geez, for an 11-year-old, that's pretty good.
I tell you what, comes off a lot higher ABV than 46, but right away you're picking up the PX cask, and you're getting like this dirty vanilla that I get a lot of times. I get a very dirty note with rum sometimes. Dirty vanillas, dirty dark notes with it, dirty sweetness.
Yep.
Or over the top sweetness sometimes.
I get a hardcore like chocolate Tootsie Roll, but also RC Cola.
Good one.
There's a meaty note in there, like a little bit of cucumber, like I said, that I get a lot with Benrinnes.
There's almost like a cucumber / slight, I wouldn't say it's probably go as far as metallic note, but there is some type of...
There 100% is a metallic note.
Okay, I was see some type of minerality.
There is something.
I haven't had this distillery too much, but...
I've been out of my game. I used to know everything about all these different distilleries. I can't remember if they use worm tubs. I feel like they do.
It wouldn't shock me. There is something... I wouldn't say it reminds me of Craigellachie, but as far as like that mineral / sort of metallic note, it is sort of similar.
Is that a ginger note in there? I
would say so, yes. A little cold ginger next to my sushi scallops on cucumbers. Yeah, I go out to eat with these guys about once or twice a month at a sushi place, and they do this raw scallop on basically a bed of cucumbers, and they put a little caviar on top of it. Man, I'm getting that right there, and it's a great smell. I can get everything but the scallops. But I'm getting a little bit of that, again, the cucumber note, a little bit of that wasabi in the background, just because sometimes I get that with the Oloroso.
I agree with
the
you.
PX.
There is like a spicy... Mm-hmm. I think there's only been one other whiskey I've ever kind of got a wasabi note, and I agree with you that is in there.
Every once in a while you'll get it with a sherry whiskey. And so, when I tell you what I can tell.
Oh my gosh, dude. I've never, that is such a spot on note.
First time with it, man. Sometimes I can pull a few gems out. But I tell you what, that dirty rum note is really coming out. Funky vanilla. Funky Dominican vanilla.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if...
I'm enjoying this.
I told you, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is my favorite out of all the three. Yes, we got that Glencadam 10 that's also a sherry bomb. That's at I forgot to bring that one. Yeah, you can get that. It's so sweet. Just powdered sugar is also sprinkled in there from the rum cask. Little slight coconut, but not super strong. Just there. I can't remember if...
That's the second time you said coconut tonight. I'm not quite getting coconut, but I'm not saying you're wrong.
I don't know if they use Demerara, sugar. I wonder what kind of rum was used.
But I tell you, you're right. The rum is adding that over-the-top sweetness to this.
Yeah. But because there's that savory, wasabi, cucumber, it's not too sickly sweet because it's got that stuff to round it out.
Silky palate. As soon as you swallow, plums, dirty vanilla. Get the ginger. Man, it comes off higher than 46% ABV. A little bit of milk chocolate.
Yep. Milk chocolate, kind of Tootsie Rolls.
Yeah, Tootsie Rolls.
RC Cola. Sugar. just sugar.
Yeah, there is. Rum. I have my girl always gets these sea salt caramels. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have the sea salt, but like that dark chocolate caramel, there's a little bit of that caramel note right at the end here on the long linger too.
Probably from the bourbon cask, mixing with the rum and the sherry.
I love a complex cask maturation if it's done right. I don't see here in the long linger, it gets that funky rum vanilla. Mm-hmm. I love to know what kind of rum cask they are. A little water?
Yep. Good.
Okay. You'd be surprised how little is poured. Like you see a stream, but it's not very much. All right, now with the water, more of the funky rum's coming up. It's sweet, it's funky. Ginger note's still there. A little cucumber.
There's a name for like certain rums. Oh crap! That happens in the distillation and then the fermentation process, and of course I'm blanking on it. I got to get back in the game, Mike. I've been out of the whiskey review business for too long.
Yeah, here you go. That's what we're doing, brother. I love the sweetness on this. Dirty vanilla sweetness. Gritty vanilla.
The vanilla really pops out with the water.
Mm-hmm. Again, the rum cask is, I think, coming to the forefront with the water. Still in the background, there's that sticky PX, a little bit chalky in the background.
This reminds me, I think this is better, but the Balvenie 14 Caribbean cask, some of that, like those. So have you ever had, like, I've had a good version of that and a crappy version of that. This reminds me of a good version of the Balvenie 14 Caribbean cask.
I've had some that are more or less vanilla'd, and I think that's kind of what you're getting at. But yeah, there is a similarity to those.
But it's like a vanilla mixed with like a slight, like citrus fruit, like pineapple, but with like powdered sugar on it.
Yeah, this is way dirtier than that whiskey. Which makes sense. That's mass produced. You know what I mean? They try to make it more palatable to most people. It's just a kiss of something, Caribbean or something rum, where this is got saturated in it.
But all those notes that we're talking about, but then you get the little milk chocolate Tootsie Rolls. You get the
Tootsie Roll. Yeah, the Tootsie Roll is good enough.
The cola. I still, I mean, the wasabi is not there like it was.
It was not in the water.
It's bare, but it is kind of lurking a little bit. The cucumber note.
Mm-hmm.
I get the cucumber water still.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I don't know. I always get that cucumber note with Benrinnes.
That's a note I like too. I have to try more of them.
Benrinnes. It's not as good as Klein Leash, and it's not as waxy as Klein Leash, but I feel like there's some similarities.
There's some heft to it. There is a grainy note, especially to this one. I have a hard time distinguishing between that and maybe like a chalky PX cask maturation, so I don't want to say for sure, but it does feel like, much like a Balvenie or something like that, there is a stronger or maybe a more distinct grain note to it, which kind of surprises me since it's over 2 times distilled. You figured to clean it up just a little bit. But I tell you what,
think about Springbank.
Yeah,
how
right.
hefty and meaty that is.
You're right.
It's 2.8
or 2.3 or whatever it is for the regular Springbank. Probably the funnest of the 3 whiskeys you brought us today, Keith. I have no problem saying that. So with that, let's get into the whiskey score on this one. This is definitely the favorite of the 3. I'm in an 88 of 100 on this, maybe 88.5, just to not commit to anything too much, but on the right day, maybe I could go to 89 on this. Yeah. Real fun. I love the cask maturation. I love it when rum's done well.
Yep.
Thoughts?
89.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's my favorite out of the 3.
Mm-hmm.
I love that Tootsie Roll, cucumber water, wasabi note mixed with all the vanilla and rum and sherry and bourbon done right.
A lot going on here, and it handled water really well.
Yep.
Brought a little more spice with water, but man, for 46% ABV, I'd easily guess this 48.
Anytime that I see a Benrinnes and it looks like it has good cask, whether it's bourbon, I mean, you can't always tell, obviously, by color, but just anytime I think like a little inkling that, all right, that's Benrinnes, got decent age and really good cask, I'm going to buy it.
Now, Keith says that, but every time he comes over here, me and him, Dustin, get together, every time he comes over, he's bringing motor oil. Every time. Keith brings the darkest.
Right, so here's the reason why. So Due to circumstances in my life,
Edredauer
I can't spend quite as much money as I used to. So I do love bourbon cask, maybe not quite as much as they do. But when you just look at a whiskey, if you don't know a lot about it, you haven't heard people review it, and you just look at the color, yes, we all know we've had dark whiskeys that suck, that aren't good. But there's a better chance if you see something that's really dark, there's a better chance. Not always.
Any of my consistent followers know that I like Isla whiskey and I like peated whiskey. As much as I like peated whiskey, you like heavily sherried whiskey. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I like sherried whiskey too. I'm telling you, Keith is relentlessly bringing over the motor oil. Edredauer, Strathmills, it doesn't matter what it is. It's motor oil.
Yep.
Anyway, those are our thoughts on this particular whiskey. You guys had a chance to try this one. We'd love to know what you guys think. Keith, until next time, what do we wish the folks?
Happy motor oil drinking.
We'll see you next time.